year 1643, Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's greatest undefeated swordsman, walked away from everything. He left behind his fame, his students, his comfortable life. He climbed alone into a dark mountain cave called Reigando and did not come out for 2 years. People thought he had gone mad. He had not gone mad. He was doing something far more difficult than any duel he had ever fought. He was fighting himself. For decades, Musashi had won every battle against every opponent. 60 duels, not a single loss. But standing at the peak of his power, he recognized something that terrified him more than any sword he had ever faced. He was enslaved, not by an enemy, not by a lord, by his own desires, by comfort, by pleasure, by the small daily habits that quietly controlled his choices without him ever noticing. So he went into the cave, and he stayed until he was free. 2 years later, Musashi emerged and wrote his final masterpiece, the Dokkodo, 21 Principles for Living a Life of Complete Inner Freedom. His very first principle was not about swordsmanship or strategy. It was this: do not seek pleasure for its own sake. 5 words, but they contain everything a person needs to understand about addiction and about freedom. Musashi had watched men far stronger than him be destroyed, not by enemies, but by their own appetites. Men who drank until their families disappeared. Men who chased pleasure until they had nothing left. Men whose habits had quietly become their masters while they believed they were still free. He understood something that most people spend their entire lives refusing to see. An addiction does not feel like a chain. It feels like a reward. That is why it is so dangerous. You do not notice it arriving. You only notice it when it has already decided what you will do today, tomorrow, and every day after. Musashi's method for breaking this was not what most people expect. He did not say fight harder. He did not say use more willpower. He had spent enough time in real combat to know that fighting from a position of weakness always ends the same way. Instead, he said, understand the nature of what you are fighting. Every addiction begins with a genuine need. The drink that quiets an anxious mind. The screen that fills an empty evening. The food that soothes a difficult day. The habit never started as your enemy. It started as something that helped. The problem is that the help came with a price you did not read before agreeing to pay it. Musashi called this Dokkodo, the way of walking alone. Not alone in the sense of lonely. Alone in the sense of guided by your own values rather than your own cravings. The cave was his practice, and it can become yours. Not a mountain cave, but a deliberate daily choice to sit with discomfort rather than immediately reaching for relief. When the urge arrives, and it will arrive, Musashi's teaching says, do not fight it and do not feed it. Simply watch it. Give it no more power than a cloud passing through the sky. Most urges last between 3 and 5 minutes at their strongest. If you can sit with the discomfort for those minutes without acting, you discover something Musashi discovered in his cave. You are not the craving. You are the one who chooses. This is not a small thing. This is everything. Musashi lived the final years of his life with almost nothing. No permanent home, no luxuries, no attachments to comfort. People who met him described a man who was completely calm, completely present. A man who looked like someone who had nothing to lose because he had already decided what mattered and released everything else. He was 60 years old and had not lost a single battle in his life. Not one fought with a sword, and not one fought within himself. The cave did not break him. It returned him to himself. And that is the only battle that was ever worth winning. Write in the comments, I choose freedom. Thank you for watching.